Namo Shivaya. Om Namo Shivaya. Om Namo Shivaya. The mantra of Om Namo Shivaya makes us remember that we are not this drop in the sea of humanity. We are the ocean of divine love. And just by remembering our true nature, just by remembering that we are the ocean and not this limited body through which we function, is enough to give us peace. Just the knowledge and the faith that we are the ocean and we are not this limited body, we become the ocean. Shiva is the ocean. Om is our starting point. Namo means not me, not my limited self. And we immediately become the ocean. And the ocean has no issues with sending love because that's the job of the ocean, because the ocean is also like the sun, burning for others. The ocean absorbs all the rivers, all the rainfall, absorbs all. Water is the life-giving, but also the purifying force. So, Om Namo Shivaya. And I'm so glad we live in times when yoga is now becoming more and more cool. Normally, I would say if something is becoming cool, but stay away from it. But if it's cool, but don't get caught up in the coolness of things. And what I'm trying to explain is we have a tendency even to use the knowledge of yoga that we are all the ocean. And when I say that we are all the ocean, means you are the same as me. Yes, at a level of body, I'm here, you are there, and this, etc. But I said, close your eyes and don't focus on the body. Don't focus on the things that separate us. The mind, yes, it's my mind, my intellect, my way of looking. So those are the things that separate us and make us small. No matter how much we have money, etc., we are small human beings. We are small. But the flow of energy and the actions that can thereby happen once we recognize ourselves as being oceans of love is infinite. But it all depends upon, Leela has that. It all depends upon our belief system and the knowledge that I am the ocean, I am the ocean, I am the ocean of divine love. Om Namo Shivaya. Om Namo Shivaya. Om Namo Shivaya. Just by repetition with your breathing, and whenever you can, focusing on Om over out here in the center of your forehead or in the center of your heart. Om Namo Shivaya. Simplest of all techniques. And as I said, Om Namo Shivaya is becoming more and more. I have seen, well, not the full Om Namo Shivaya, but I've seen Om in something that can now be successfully used to sell t-shirts. And you should check on the Google and etc. If, for example, a pen or anything, let's say you want a praying rosary. In China, it would be costing 2 cents. When it goes on the sale, it costs around $5, $10, $2. But if you put this stamp of Om and call it instead of a bead, a meditation bead, then you can charge even 250. I've seen meditation beads of $500. So yoga has become cool, and we have started to put my ocean of love is bigger or smaller than yours, and we should not be concerning ourselves with judgment. So I met someone, and I was invited, and the house was beautiful and very good children. And the husband, probably because from Russia, had at some time did something to make money, so the money wasn't really clean. And as a result, the whole family was depressed. Beautiful home and everything, but the family is depressed. And it's not one, it's a lot of them. Almost all the houses that you walk into, by virtue, either the people are stressed because the mortgage is so high, or they are stressed because the money wasn't really proper. One of the two happens a lot of times. And the person was clinically depressed to a point where we did pray, and we are praying even today, so that the family is together. And when I asked, okay, so what do you want? And the answer was very, very strange answer. I said, what do you want? And the answer was, well, I know this person who was a relative, who was, when 21, she declared to the world that she is going to become a yoga teacher. So we all have that stereotype, young, steel buns lady with like good figure and a yoga smile and a mat, etc. And it's still dominant. That's why yoga has become so cool. At 21. Okay. And now that lady is 41. 20 years have passed since yoga has been deemed to be cool. Okay. But here is the thing. This lady was comparing that because she's taking care of a husband who is difficult, all husbands are difficult, and of two children, she was thinking that the life of this yoga teacher who goes off onto these different conventions and yoga retreats are always in exotic places, etc., etc. So she was jealous and envying the other person. And I had to laugh at that, because I could see that the yoga person was absolutely depressed and very, very sad inside. And she was envying her because she only saw, oh, she is a yoga teacher and she goes off into different places, etc. See, the yoga lady who has been a yoga instructor now for 20 years happily has got a son. Okay, someone wants to join. So has got a son who for 20 years lives with his grandparents. Someone wants to join now. It's okay. So the son has been living with grandparents. This lady has been going all over the world. And there are three issues. One, you cannot be a yoga teacher if you are running away from your responsibility, especially as a mother. So the other lady who is taking care of her children and family is a bigger yoga teacher. But because it looks cool, she thinks that the other person has a, well, the other person in deep in her heart, she wants this Hollywood picture, round table, husband across, cooking, eating same food, making jokes across, thinking this is a family or something from some TV show, etc. And it doesn't really work out like that. But the yoga teacher thinks is jealous of this lady in reality, that she has a family and the husband brings more home the money and while yoga teachers typically, if you make minimum pay salaries, how much are you going to pay someone to hold a frappuccino? I've seen that happen. Frappuccino hand, yes, please bend more. So how much, like, people make minimum salary as yoga teachers unless and until you, chances of becoming famous with yoga are the same as winning a lottery. You'll see the number of people who are trying to become famous with yoga and all that, because it's all free, unregulated. I call myself yoga guru. There is no certification exam that I took, etc. If you want to call yourself like yoga guru from tomorrow, or master healer or something, there is no certification. Really, you can from tomorrow. I would encourage you to go, and I would support you. So it's a there's no lines of demarcation on what goes and what doesn't go, and people have the minimum pays, and when you are flying, most of the time you're paying out of your own pocket. You're flying for this yoga retreat because you get used to this huge energy of people listening to you, and your own insecurities are removed via the attention of others. Via the attention of others. Oh, okay. The browser was not showing me the people who are waiting. I'm sorry. So the situation was that the housewife who had 2 children, a husband, a good house, with a good job, even in our times, is depressed because she compares her life to someone who was rather going around, is a yoga teacher, so has got a lot of fake but referential power. It's fake power the moment. It's not like the yoga teachers or myself. We are not different from each other. We are not. At a level of things that we see, we are. But yoga has to teach us, to take us to a place where we don't see the differences, but where we see the things that connect us. So we are all on the same planet. We are all living in the same time. We are all connected with an open heart, and we are all like-minded. So when you go for yoga, you have to become spiritual. When you become spiritual, then you become non-materialistic. Because if you hold on to the word which is around you very seriously, oh, I want money, 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 it doesn't work out. When you go into the deep inside yourself, you see that money is important, but not so important. It's like monopoly money. Well, in fact, the whole of life is, you are very much, it is recommended that we treat life as a dream state. Comes and goes, and if anything, happiness you find, be happy. If something is bad, then think of it as a dream, the other side of being happy. So slowly, yoga is to take us to a place where we are not focused on the self. We are focused on being an ocean of infinite love by living for others, by doing acts of love for others. But yoga has become cool. So I'm going to be sharing a small photo for 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. I'll stop just so that you guys know what is it that about yoga that I find so uncomfortable right now, even though we should be comfortable with everything. And you will start to. You have to be totally non-comparing your beautiful life with anyone else's life, and totally happy, totally joyous that you are given a role on this planet, and you have misunderstood the role. You have thought that this role is to take care of your body, eat properly, exercise, mind, and then it's not. That's just your car that you have to take care of. So now when yoga means taking care of the driver of this body, behind the mind, behind the intellect. Not a biggie. Close your eyes and focus in the Om in the center of your heart. In the center, we are all like-minded. So Om Namo Shiva, your heart becomes the ocean. Now go to the heart of the ocean and see over there Om Namo Shiva, knowing that Om Namo Shiva is taking you and calling out to you to become an ocean of love. You become an ocean of love with Om Namo Shiva. There is the magic. With closed eyes, you become an ocean of love. Now go to the heart of the ocean of love. The heart is golden, like a thumb, the shape of a thumb, golden thumb shape, radiating pure love as golden lights, surrounded not by red, the color of blood, but the center of the universe is very dark blue. Om Namo Shiva. See the golden in the blue. Om Namo Shiva. Om Namo Shiva. Om Namo Shiva. You can open your eyes and for 10 seconds see the two photos behind me. The two people who made yoga cool in the West, in the whole of the West, no matter which yoga you did, what yoga you practice, whether you read a book by anyone on this planet, all the westernization of the yoga that made it cool. And it's good that it was cool and it was brought to you as something that you can digest and make a part of your life so that you can manage your life of service, not of living for yourself. Manage a value-driven life of service. That is what yoga is. And it was all brought about to the two people from whose photographs. The first one's name is Paramhans. So I'm introducing to you to the guru of gurus. When the knowledge of Om Namo Shiva is flowing through you, you have to acknowledge the guru. And these are the gurus who brought forward. Paramhansa was brought about in 19th century, 1820 something, and 1840 basically, around 1841. And he was absolutely uneducated. He didn't like the school, etc. Even though his family did send him to school, he liked to play around, etc. And he started to go in meditation trances even when he was a child, his parents, but no one was really much happy about it. Because it is dangerous if a child is out in the fields and goes into a trance, etc. It's not really something that you look for. And everyone wanted him to be a priest, which he did. He was from a priest family. His elder brother became a priest. He was a really good priest for a committee. And then one of the queens of who was living in Calcutta, India had a lot of small states. She really liked him, and particularly she liked the advice that he gave as member of the committee. She was constructing a temple. The queen was constructing a temple in Calcutta. It's still over there, for the goddess Kali, and he was a member of the board. And one day when the images were taken, when the idols were taken, one of them got broken, and all the Brahmans, all the top priests it's been contaminated. This idol should be destroyed and should be put in Ganga, etc. And he stood out and he said, no. To the queen, he asked, if your son-in-law breaks his arm, would you get another son-in-law? No. So then they just fixed it up, made it as good as and these are very, very superstitious times. This is in the 19th century, not the 20th century. Well, we are in the 21st century. So these were very brave things to go against the grain of the society in any way, because these places were very, very conformist. So his brother was the main priest, and when he came to live with his brother, he saw the statue of the mother Kali. But Kali is very ferocious in her look. She has blood dripping out. She is terrible enough to terrify even the fear of death inside us. But he immediately recognized the beauty of her, and he would always referred to that statue as being mother. And he would actually feed the mother. He would be, every time that he would be taking care of the mother Kali as if, and for him, and she was alive. For him, she was alive, and she was alive even for others at that point. He, with his deep amount of devotion, everyone thought him everyone thought him he was mad, because you become absolutely, you don't have respect for anything. He just would sit in front of Kali and talk with her and feed her, and people would say he has gone mad. That was what they called him initially. But then his faith was so strong that he would go into visions and trances and 3-day trances, etc. And then people sort of started to treat him like divine. But everyone gave him this idiosyncrasy. Okay, he thinks that this idol is alive, so no one, there's no harm in it. But more and more, there was a string of things that happened which showed to the world that not only was it alive, but it could move and function, and others also started to see the mother. And it was his person, and he was uneducated. Having said that, at one time in life, Paramhans, he decided, I'm going to check out the Christian way. And for some few months, he went to the church, prayed he did not do anything with Hinduism, no Kali, no nothing. Then once he had achieved the high state, he said, yes, this is exactly like the Hinduism. Then at one point he wanted to check out Islam. So he actually took out all the idols from his room, etc., and lived as an Islamic person. And then after 3-4, he says, yes, the way of the Sufi is exactly the same. It's the right. And it's just like different roads leading to the same place. And even just it's a difference in the name. At a high stage, Christianity, and he lived as a Christian for a few months. Islamic, he lived as an Islamic, and Hinduism. So he propagated, he wasn't fixed on only one religion. He saw them. Now, he was still an unknown priest in a mandir called Dakshinapur, which is around 25 kilometers away from Calcutta. No one knew him. And our protagonist, the guy who, the gentleman rather, the guru who spread yoga in the Western world, the date is also known, 1894, who is known today as Swami Vivekananda, but then he was known as Naren. He was born into a normal, neither rich nor poor family, but they gave him enough education that he was studying in the English college in Calcutta. And being westernized, he was atheist, but he wanted to improve the society. So he was part of a movement called Brahmo Samaj, which was against idols, because they considered that India is backward because of all these religions. So he was very much against religion. And then one day his professor of English was teaching to him a poem by Wordsworth, and the word was trance. And he was trying to explain to the class what is trance. Imagine in those times, and trance was being described. Now everyone knows. There have been movies and this. And the students just wouldn't get it. So the professor, an Englishman, Hasselby or something, actually told his students, you know what, there is a gentleman 10 kilometers away from the outskirts of Calcutta who goes into trances. And the students' interest was piqued. They went over out there. And next weekend, the students went, but these were all westernized students. So they went in a very skeptical frame of mind. And when Naren met first time Paramhans, he asked him to sing. And when Naren sang the song, they were songs of devotion, very popular in Bangladesh, in West Bengal, that part of the Calcutta. The guru, it is said, Paramhansa recognized, I know you from the previous. Before being born, from that stage I know. And you are an avatar of one of the avatars of God for me. And I'm going to serve you and this. And he was taking his hand and saying and trying to feed him and show him various. And the others were that the guru is showing so much amount of respect for the student who just came first time. The guru, people did recognize that if you can go in a trance for 3 days, means that you are a guru. And he was very unassuming and didn't, and every time that he would say things which were or revolutionary at that time. He would say, no, Islamic religion is also good, English is also good, Christians are also good, etc. And these were times when India was going through a lot of upheavals. But he was really not afraid, and he did give a lot of miracles, small and big, to the people around him, that they would accept him. And he was every day praying intensely to Kali in that small, in the temple, there was a small room where the idol was there, and he was treating always the idol as if it's alive, and he would be angry, oh, it's time for lunch and dinner, for her lunch and dinner, he meant. And he wouldn't eat himself for days on and on. So the people were convinced about, but they couldn't understand why he's so generous with this student who is, well, he's just a normal student, college student. And the college student asked him, have you seen God really? And this question was the key question that Naren, Swami Vivekananda, before he became a Swami, used to ask as a student, everyone. Again, he was an atheist. So he would go and in arguments with the traditional Hindu society, where 90% were like blindly, superstitiously religious, like believing in rituals and all that. And he was part of a society which did not, but believed in doing well for the society, but not in a superstitious manner. So he would ask, have you seen God? And the Guru Paramhans looked at him in the eyes and this. And he said, I see him as I see you. And here is where the difference between the Guru and us comes. He says, I see him as I see you, except I see him clearer. And this somehow, the tone in which this was communicated was out of the world. So this westernized college student was sort of petrified by the answer, because he had asked always and people had given him different answers. And there is this naked, uneducated, with the total firm belief that the idol to which he serves is real and alive and activated with real life and is his real mother. He said, he asked him, I see God. Do you see God? So I do. I see God as I see you, but I see God clearer than I see you. So this answer shook the student. He went back, and the next weekend again the students came. And this time he was asking something, and the Guru, Paramhans, again, this is a Guru around whom, even if you're talking to him about something else, and you just would say the name of God, Ram he loved, you would say, oh, but the story of Ram is like, and the moment you say the word Ram or Kali, he would go into a trance. So it was difficult. There were around him people who would tell you, do not use these words, or he would just go on a trance, and then you would lose at least 2-3 hours. So when he was the second time, when he went to the Guru, Naren, or Swami Vivekananda, as he was later on called, he said, prove or something. He said, prove to me. And the Guru kicked him with this left foot. He was standing, he was sitting down, and put his foot on his heart. And for 2.5 hours, Naren went into a sleep, and after 2.5 hours, Swami Vivekananda rose up. And he couldn't believe. And he could not explain. He just said that everything dissolved and became one. But after that kick or touch in the heart by the Guru, the normal student Naren became Swami Vivekananda. He formally did it in a different, formally he took up the robes slightly later, but this is the time when he became awakened. But he was still fighting with himself. He went back and said, no, this person is still a monomad. He just does God, Kali, 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 Kali. But he couldn't sleep also because he had been gone through this trance about which he had been so curious and he had asked repeatedly. The third time that they went was after some time. And he still wasn't fully convinced, but during this time, these are different stages in life also of Swami Vivekananda. His father died and his family got reduced to really to became poor because the father was the earning man. And he, as a college student who hasn't finished, looked for a job here and there and couldn't find anything. It seems if India was, it was always difficult to get job, always. Whatever he could make, the family was living in poverty. So he goes out there to his guru and guru says, okay, you are going through a lot of poverty. And he said, if God is there, then why is there so much amount of poverty? Why is there poverty? Like my family is not the poverty over out here in the North America of being on welfare and all that and getting by with an old car, etc., and thinking that you are poor. This is like starvation poverty. So, and it's okay even if you starve, but your family members, when they are starving, it's a huge hit. So that level of starvation, and Naren goes to his guru and asks him, why is there so much amount of poverty in my life? I've been going through so many months of stark poverty. I haven't eaten for days, except when I come over to the temple. Okay. So he says, okay, I will let you go to my place of worship. And you can ask Kali for whatever you want. He says, okay. So because the devotion of the guru was so powerful that this idol, Naren, sat before the Swami Vivekananda sat before the idol, and after some time he felt that the idol is communicating. And he asked God, rather he was asked by God, what do you want? And he said, this, I want this. But he forgot money. Health of my mother, this to come, but he forgot money. After the trance, after the session, he comes out, the guru is waiting. What did you ask for? Did you ask for money that you need? He said, no, I forgot. Go again. He went 3 times, and each time he forgot. When the communication happened with God and he was in need of money, start money, he couldn't ask for money, and he asked, and the guru said, well, if you had not been poor, you would have remained Naren, and that way you have become a Swami. So only then did Swami Vivekananda understand the value of being poor. That's why it's so difficult for us in North America, because we are spoiled. We are really spoiled. Everything small traumatizes us. COVID traumatizes. What does it do? To kill 5% of the people who are above 55, who already. When was the time when the people above 55 were not there? Tell. When was a time when we were walking, we were not covering our heart? Because when we walk on the streets, our hearts nowadays are closed with our judgment calls and all that. So it's a different time. I want you to understand that the current world, the traumas of this world that we are having, that are making us feel small, oh, I'm this and I need this and this, are very, very imaginary. So when, I'll give you an example, like you find that a lot of times the North America has made us so comfortable with our rights and these things and everything that now it's very easy to get traumatized. You have to go to the heart level and keep it open and know that all your traumas, etc., husband doesn't like you or doesn't respect you, job doesn't like your the people at job don't like your respect, get this. You are all of you are very, very well safe. Your your lives are your own matter. Your sense of dignity is yours only. No one really imposes or say, and you're also physically well protected. Even if it's a husband, wife, anything, you're very well protected. And even if you lose everything, you can always get by. But we have this mind which needs more and which compares, etc. And I'll tell you, I'll share something from you. So I had a very Indian middle class upbringing, and I went to a good school. So going to the school, one day, one of the teachers who was really smart but very, very strict, and it was the last lesson, and he found that something, either I hadn't done the homework properly or I had done it, or this is the ninth standard problem. And he slapped me as a punishment. Okay. India, it's not such a big deal. Out here it would be, oh, he slapped. He was rather famous for his slaps. The teacher was very famous. He was a teacher of physics, Mr. T, and he was very famous for his slaps. He was a good teacher, but famous for it, and any opportunity that he found, he would slap. Okay, now I'm going in the school bus back, and some people are very, oh, so you didn't do the homework. I thought it's across the grapevine. No one was really laughing at me, because today I haven't done the homework, I got slapped. Tomorrow it's you haven't done the homework, you would get slapped. It was unless and until you're really good looking or very something. These are standard things on the planet. And the good looking people have their own other things, like, oh, that person loves me only for my body or this or that, etc. So everyone has got their own traumas. So I went home, and my mother said, you didn't do the homework. I said, no, how is this ESP working? I don't really believe in it. She said, go to the washroom, because our houses were not like the ones which are over out here, or streets where everywhere there is a mirror, etc., to increase your insecurities regarding your body, etc. We just had one mirror, I think, in the washroom. I went over out there, and I saw that the hand of the teacher was like fully imprinted. So my cheek was like all the five fingers. You could probably make out the finger prints and all that was over out here. And that's why, like, everyone knew that I hadn't done my homework. Now, the thing is that this was a very ordinary day, almost a normal day. I won't say that I have been hit or beat, but this is a normal day for an Indian person. You get hit, you get slapped, you get shouted at, you are going into a road, something happens at you, push against the wrong person, it's a crowded place, it's this happened, that happened. Like, by the time you get to it, you're just you do find a sense of joy, but it can be looking at the stars, it can be just having friends, and just it may not be like you are having money, etc., a lot, etc., but you will have fun, you know, just looking at stars, or like, smoking one cigarette with 10 people or something like that. So you have laughter no matter how much toys you have, etc., no matter how much in life you are hit or not hit, etc. Now, to put this story, I remember when I was in Vancouver, and a lady came, like, young, beautiful, not around 36, and all shaken up, shaky lady. I was thinking, she's really stressed about everything. And we had a beachside the meditation, so we were at the beach, and the rest of the group was slightly, and she was still shaking after the meditation of Om Namo Shivaya. She was slightly, and so I was asking, look, you have come for the first time. At this time in your life, something happened, and this, okay. And she started to cry when she remembered it. She was saying, my shaking, actually, I said, it started at 16. What happened? Like, usually I've got two daughters, I know, like, and my father, and she was started to stammer, my father, my father. And I'm a father of two girls, and like, all the American movies are, oh, this serial killer was killing because he had been raped in this, and incest had happened, and this, and so all those scenarios. And oh God, no, you don't really like listening to all those stories. And There have been people who have even died of cancer. Our father was this, that, and I would be saying, please do Om Namo Shivaya for them, but they were very comfortable in the fighting zone. They're happy with the adrenaline which flows through them. They did not do Om Namo Shivaya, so they left the planet early. Now, this lady was all shaking. Again, she's around 32, 36, good looking, white, Vancouver, good job, and shaking. And when I said 16, she started, my father, my father, my father, my father. And so I said, what happened? You have to get it out here. My father shouted at me. And he shouted my name so hard. And I couldn't believe, but for a microsecond, I did smile or laugh or like she. And then I was like, okay, so let it go, let it go, let it go. So we are all living on up, and then this lady, she complained about her husband, and she went to, they sent her the money for the, they sent to her the money for the taxi. The taxi took her to a place where in Vancouver they save you from abusive relationships. And I met her later on, and she told me a very twisted story, even more twisted than the shouting story. She told me that in that center, they tried to ensure that all people, all the abused people, they are funded by the government, they go to that place, and then they are basically taught, which may be the truth for all I know, that all men are a-holes. And then you have the whole place is run by people believing in the freedom of sexual orientation as if it's a flag of liberty, and they're very, very aggressive towards that. And this person still wanted to go back to her husband, so they were sort of put down. And when she was absolutely certain she wants to go back to her husband, they just dropped her from the program. But if you go into that and you sort of start indulging in alternative lifestyles, etc., and you go with the feeling, yes, all men are like a-holes or pigs or this, etc., you stick with that. That's the philosophy that they try to propagate. And if you stick to it, then you can stay with them for a longer period of time. So that was, but the point is we become traumatized. And then we report and blame and this, everything, and the society as if it is helping us. But it is actually creating separations. So in our times, we take our inspiration from the gurus. The first guru, well, he's not the first, he's lineage, but the one who opened the West to yoga was absolutely uneducated, but totally trusting that the idol of God in front of him is alive, and totally talking and living with the mother as if she's alive, not only just an idol of God. With that level of trust, he would go into trances deep, and he would always say, first know yourself. So that means know the lighted heart energy deep inside you. And Naren was the college student who was skeptical for a long, and he tested his guru out in different ways. So once he put a coin, a silver coin. He knew that the guru would not accept money, so he put that just like in that fairy tale, he put it in a pillow underneath the guru, and when the guru sat on it, he jumped up as if in pain. And this further, so Swami Vivekananda had a lot of tests which he did, logical and illogical, and the uneducated guru gave him all the rhetorical answers, all of them from Vedas, basically from Gita and Vedas. And then Swami became a monk. He wore the orange clothes which were given to him by the guru. And the story is that he went to Guru's wife. The guru had a wife also. And it was pure, pristine, virginal relationship, because he was already an enlightenment, but his family got him married off to another, but he wanted someone who would believe in Kali as much as he did. He prayed for that, and he got that. So her name was Ma Sharad, his wife. And when the guru had crossed over, Swamiji had a chance to go to USA. He was sponsored with the minimum amount of ticket. by one of the kings who was impressed with his talks as a monk. And Swamiji got a ticket to come to New York, and then it was found out that the convention is in 4 months and he had the least amount of money, but somehow people would meet him. Sometimes they would make fun of him for his clothes and all that. And sometimes he would be sometimes people would sponsor him. So he had to last 4 months till the Parliament of Religions, the first Parliament of Religions organized in 1894. And he was the candidate for Hinduism. Young monk, still around 31. He went over there and was dressed in these clothes. And the story is that someone said, "Why don't you wear gentlemen's clothes?" And he said, "It's not that the clothes make me a gentleman. My attitude, my behavior does." He's the same person who, when he gave a talk, so when he went to the podium, first time in life, public speaking one, till that time, all the lectures had always opened with ladies and gentlemen. It was a standard. No one had ever deviated from that now, ever. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. When he went over, he said, "Brothers and sisters of America." And from that, he had, it's still a recorded, he had a 2-minute standing ovation just after saying brothers and sisters. And then he explained how everyone should be a better Christian and by being better Islamic. And he said that Hinduism is, the religion should not be excluding each other, but should be including each other. And that was all his talk about resolving the differences between us. And the story, one of the stories that he said was that there's a frog living in a well, and another one comes from the ocean and says to him, "Oh, I'm from the ocean." And the one in the frog says, "How big is the ocean?" He says, "Is it larger than mine?" And he says, "No." He says, "How can that? Is impossible. Is it larger than this? Is it?" And he puffs up his chest. "Is it larger than this? Is the ocean larger than this?" And the one from outside keeps on saying no. And finally, the first one who is trying to puff it ends up dead, because I'm like that ocean informer, telling that the ocean of love inside you is infinite. And you are just taking a look, my body, 2 hands, 2 legs, this is, how can this be infinite love, etc.? But it is. You open your eyes, it is magic. There are other people around you, it is magic. The world is, so many things are in transition. The energy is always moving, all the molecules, everything is moving. But you think that there is a stability, it's magic. And you're functioning in a world. We don't really understand the word, but neither do we understand who we are. We are eternal souls reflected right now, currently, showing ourselves as burning hearts for others, the burning heart of Jesus for others. When the heart burns, it gives off light. Where? To yourself? No, to others. We are burning for others. So Vivekananda had only one thing: serve humanity. That is the best form of meditation or yoga, not meditation. And he translated his books, the Raja Yoga, the Karma Yoga. They are the ones that were copied and pasted then by every other teacher in different ways. And he was the one who brought over Parameshwar's like meditation techniques and how and what to achieve. So he was the first person who made yoga cool. And his story, I'll again repeat the second one of his stories. So he was so charismatic. Tesla, who now is recognized as a super genius, that he could see, he could understand and create energy and manipulate energy, and had a wider understanding of energy more than anyone else out there. And even his work is right, even now, top secret. So Tesla was a student. A lot of people in 1920s, etc., which were famous. Sarah Bernhardt, the actress, she was a student of Vivekananda. He traveled around after that. He traveled around to different parts of the world, and the celebrities and the kings and queens, they met him, including of England. So they met him, all the royalty, etc. met him, all the famous people met him, and a lot of them became his disciples, including the one, and his disciples also include Beatles lineage is also from there. So all these lineages, they start from these two. The uneducated one who had a total trust in the picture of Kali, that he would personify and see it and live with it as if it was a real. And it was activated, and it was. And Vivekananda, the skeptical atheist student who met him, the first time asked him, do you see God? And he said, yes, I see, clearer than I see you. And the second time, he put his foot and he went off into a samadhi, a total dissolution of the self. And after that, he was never the same. There's also a point in the relationship when the Guru says, I have been waiting for you so that I can give my knowledge and my abilities to you. And Narendra said, no. It's not time. I want to grow so that I can serve everyone. And if after that I need, I'll ask. So there is total trust between, but it started from Naren tested the Guru in all possible ways, and then only, because he was a skeptical Europeanized student of the end of the 19th century. And then after his speech, then yoga spread across everywhere. Till that time, it was a dying art. So these two are the gurus with their blessings. With their blessings, you take the knowledge that sets you free from all small traumas. Father shouted, even if father had killed, even then it's a trauma which is imaginary, because the real you cannot be killed. Unless you let the other person hurt you, you cannot really interact. So any hurt or any source of trauma, past, present, future, you send to it, Om Namo Shiva, Om Namo Shiva. And you have to do this 100 times morning. And now I'm going to be giving you certain rules. So Om Namo Shiva through you, Om Namo Shiva, Om Namo Shiva, to others on the planet. Always breathing in and out, which you are doing, but doing it with the recognition that this is not the wind and the air and the oxygen. This is the grace of God, and you are an instrument of grace of God. Om Namo Shiva. You are the infinite ocean, conditionally known as Shiva. 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 If someone wants to join. Shiva. 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 Om Namo Shiva. Total expansion of the heart. Om Namo Shiva. Om Namo Shiva. Om Namo Shiva. Om Namo. Ask for the Guru's blessings. Vivekananda was so charismatic because he was pure power of love in action. He was so charismatic, being the total power of love. And he had charismatic communication, not because of practice. The first time he stepped into the world stage, he communicated and he had standing ovations. And his speech even today inspires, because it is to include and consolidate. And know that true religion is religion of love, spreading love and service. Om Namo Shiva. Breathe in. Om Namo Shiva. Send love to Hal for his health issues, and send love to Yajidev also. Om Hadi and her, just send to them love through yourself. Om Namo Shiva. So that they are grounded in full communion with the godliness inside, with the angels inside their heart, and able to unconditionally serve the society. Om. Om has got 1,000 meanings. In this one, it is, let my divinity unfold. Om. Feel it flowing as blessings of the gurus from the crown of your head. Feel a very subtle energy flowing from the crown of the head from the gurus whose pictures are behind me. Swami Vivekananda and Swami Paramhans, Ramkishan Paramhans, Ramkishan Paramhans, Ramkishan Paramhans, Vivekananda, 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 Vivekananda. Feel their blessings of this free knowledge that sets free you from all your past traumas. Let it flow from the crown of the head to your heart, so that your heart is totally wild and free, unfolding. Namo Shiva. You indulge, you allow yourself to serve humanity as an ocean of divine love. Shiva. Om Namo Shiva. A lady once approached Vivekananda near Oxford when he was a very smart, beautiful, rich socialite lady, and she says, I want to marry you. And he said, no, madam, I'm a monk, I'm sorry, I cannot. And she was of the royalty, very rich. She said, no, I will give you all the support that you need to found all your orders, etc. So you will be helping mankind through me. He said, still, why do you want to marry me? She said, because I would love to have a child, a son like you. And Vivekananda said, Ma, from this day onwards, from this second, you are my mother. Om Namo Shiva. Open your heart totally and fully. An open heart is a fearless heart. Om Namo Shiva. Om Namo Shiva. Feel the grace of Guru flowing through the head, cleaning your head of all heavy thoughts. All heavy thoughts, judgments, blame at others. Just leave the part where it says, I'm responsible for my life, I'm responsible for my joy. My mission is to serve others. Just these three thoughts, keep them. The rest of them, let them be dissolved in golden light, the blessing of the Guru. Oh. As the thoughts in your head are dissolved, the flow of energy of blessing flowing from the crown of the head goes to the deepest part of your head. Namo. Piercing the heart. Namo. Just as it pierces, the heart explodes to become an ocean of love. The concrete heart explodes to become an ocean of love. Shiva. When you breathe in, take your energy to the crown of your forehead. Breathe in. Now do Om and bring it down with blessings. Om. Let it reach your heart. Namo. Shiva. Breathe out, dissolving in pure love. Shiva. Breathe in and take your energy and its focus as golden light to the top, to the 7th chakra, which is 1.5 centimeter above the crown of the head. Take it over there. Om. Breathe in. Om. Hitting that, the energy goes down to your heart. Namo Shiva. Om Namo Shiva. Om Namo Shiva. Have a laughing, smiling heart. Have a laughing, smiling heart and share that laughter with everything and everyone, including with your angels, with all the angels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. Om Namo Shiva. Om Namo. See everyone in your life as an angel. Om Namo Shiva. Om Namo Shiva. See everything and everyone as different waves while you are the ocean. Om Namo Shiva. If you want, you can see for 3 seconds your past life also. Om Namo Shiva. See it as a wave that had a start and an end, but see yourself as the ocean with many such waves. Om Namo Shiva. 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 Om Namo Shiva.